For a sense of what it was like on the ground in Haiti, we turn to Montreal Gazette journalist Sue Montgomery, who just came back from a recent trip. This is our interview. So Sue, what did you experience and see in Haiti?
We went out into the street and it was like nothing I have ever seen in my life. I mean, there were bodies everywhere, all over the road, dead bodies. The rubble was down. At that point, the smell hadn't really started yet. I walked and literally stepped over bodies and people screaming, crying. Like I saw this one young girl, her hand was missing. Gangrene had already set in. There were maggots on the stub of her wrist. I'm sure she's dead now.
Sue, what made you decide to go to Haiti?
When the earthquake struck on Tuesday evening, I knew that I had to go to Haiti because I had been there twice before, and it's a country that I'm very passionate about. They dropped us at the Dominican embassy, which was sort of standing like this. And meanwhile, my office had emailed me and said, no problem, we've booked you 2 rooms and paid for it with our credit card at the El Rancho Hotel. So when we stepped down, I said to one of the Dominicans, so do you know where the El Rancho Hotel is? And he said, yeah, it's right over there. And it was totally flattened. So our room was basically the grass.
So Sue, how did you actually send out your reports? How did you physically do it?
There was no electricity, there was no internet. And by some miracle, I tripped across this office by the Dominican embassy, and inside there were Dominican journalists working with internet and with electricity. So we were just like, wow. So we started working madly because the electricity would cut. So I would send my stories by email, paragraph by paragraph, just in case the electricity cut out.
You've been criticized by Doctors Without Borders recently about your coverage in Haiti. How do you respond to this?
There were 3 doctors I met in one of these tent cities who went to Doctors Without Borders and begged them for sutures, for antibiotics, for painkillers, and they were refused. They said, no, we don't share our stuff with other doctors. So I wrote that. Because I think the people who are donating money to these organizations need to know. Doctors Without Borders too, they set up this beautiful hospital somewhere away from this, and you know, people were supposed to go to them, but how? There was no gas, no vehicles, a lot of people had no legs. And I'm not criticizing the workers that were on the ground. They were doing what they could do, but they're restricted by the red tape and the administration and the policies of these huge organizations.
Sue, do you feel that your reporting in Haiti made a difference?
After 25 years in the business, I actually feel this is one of the rare times I feel like I made a difference. And it was a privilege to be able to cover it and to witness humanity at its best.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Sue.
Sue Montgomery is currently collecting donations of toys and clothing to benefit the recent Haitian immigrants. She says most of the new immigrants have difficulty settling into Montreal's cold weather, and that many of them feel guilty for leaving their families behind.
A 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck Manila, the capital city of the Philippines, just last week. It rattled buildings, frightened citizens, but caused no serious injuries or damage. Haiti, Japan, Chile all suffered devastating earthquakes this year. Haiti's earthquake destruction was so severe, it caused a global relief effort. The Chile earthquake was so powerful it is believed to have altered the Earth's axis by 8 centimeters. And Japan's earthquake led to widespread tsunami warnings in the region. All that has got some people worried. ABC's Willie Lowery sat down with earthquake expert Chris DeVries to find out just what is going on.
Are earthquakes on the rise, Chris? Haiti, Chile, LA recently, what's going on?
Earthquakes are absolutely not on the rise. Earthquakes have been rather stable over the last few million years. We have several million earthquakes, most too small to feel, every year. And of the severe ones, since 1990, we've had about 18 a year. So earthquakes are not on the rise. What instead is happening is that people are moving into areas that are earthquake prone. The human population is expanding and going into places that they didn't live before, building cities in areas that aren't safe to build cities.
Why was the earthquake in Chile less damaging than the one in Haiti?
Well, there are 3 reasons for that. The first is that in 1960, Chile experienced one of the most powerful earthquakes to be recorded in modern time, and it was a wake-up call for the Chilean people. As a result, they started building their buildings stronger. The second reason is that the earthquake in Chile struck 40 kilometers underground and about 5 kilometers offshore. So it had a while to go before it reached populated areas, whereas in Haiti, the earthquake was 13 kilometers under Port-au-Prince. The epicenter was right there, under a populated area. It didn't have far to travel at all. And the third reason is that in Chile, the earthquake waves, when they reached the populated area, had metamorphic bedrock to pass through, something that would transmit those waves quickly, efficiently, and without much shaking. In Haiti, on the other hand, we see a totally different story. We see mud. Mud amplifies shaking. Mud makes shaking much worse. Mud and hills combined also gives the risk of landslides, and we saw landslides in Haiti as well.
What about a country like Canada? I mean, we haven't really experienced a massive earthquake that I'm aware of, at least. And are we immune to them, and are we prepared for them?
On the west coast of Canada, there are plate tectonic boundaries. There are faults and moves. I believe back in 2001 or 2002, there was a magnitude 6.0 earthquake on Vancouver Island that caused some damage in Victoria. And we have tectonic boundaries in Canada, but we also have old tectonic boundaries in Canada. And here in Montreal, where you have the Laurentian Mountains, they were built billions of years ago by these massive tectonic forces. However, during the last 1 million years, we have seen glaciation in Canada. And when a glacier advances over land, it presses down on it. It presses down hard, and it rebounds slowly. And that rebound can reactivate some of those very old faults. Montreal gets small earthquakes, magnitude 3.0 on the Richter scale, at least once a year. People don't notice them because they don't look out for them.
Well, Chris, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
I can honestly say I've lived in Montreal my whole life and I've never experienced an earthquake.
Neither have I.
Well, if you do experience an earthquake, the best thing to do is to drop, cover, and hold. During earthquakes, drop to the floor, take cover under a sturdy desk or table, and hold onto it firmly and wait until the shaking stops.
Good to know, but let's hope we never need to use it. And that is it for ABC News. I'm Kimberly Lamotang.
And I'm Adam Avrashi.
Have a good night.